Have you ever wondered what made Canada the place it is today? Well, the peaceful days that we're living in right now are because of the sacrifices that the young soldiers have made. And today I'll tell you a short story of a significant artifact and an ordinary soldier that were extremely symbolic and played an important role in the war. On November 29, 1896, the son of Alexander W. and J.S. McGillivray was born. The baby was born in Orangeville, Ontario, and named Smith Finley McGillivray. As years had passed, Smith Finley McGillivray became a 19-year-old teenager. July 5th. That day was special to him. The military officer came to their school and gave the students speeches of how everyone could contribute to the war. It was a war between the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente. Great Britain was a part of the Triple Entente, which caused Canada to automatically be in the war. The next day, he filled out the attestation paper and signed up for the war. A lot of his friends signed up too. Some wanted to be heroes, and some just wanted to do their parts as Canadians. He signed up for the 164th Battalion, but he was assigned to the 116th Battalion. He was a Canadian infantry, a part of the Canadian Expeditionary Force. Soon enough, he got sent to Quebec, the Valcartier training camp, which was the primary training base for the 1st Canadian contingent in 1914, and he was trained for a little amount of time. The soldiers at that time were most poorly trained. A lot of them never had experience with guns or knives. They were just normal citizens, like bus drivers, farmers, and even bakers. They had to contribute to the war, so they trained for 2 months and got sent to Europe and fought for 2 years. 6 months following the initial authorization of the battalion, the 116th recruited 1,145 men, and the battalion set sail for Europe in July 1916. Smith Finley McGillivray was wearing the uniform that they gave him when he was recruited by the CEF. It was a little windy on the ship. He took off his dressing cap and looked at it. The Canadian cap badge is gorgeous, he must have thought. It had the Canadian title with a crown on top, and the whole badge was in the shape of maple leaf. It reminded him of who he was fighting for and his identity as Canadian. Of course, the badge didn't just remind the soldiers who they were fighting for. It also distinguished the CEF from the British counterparts. The badge itself is really historical significant in World War I because it represents Canada's participation in the war, and it symbolizes pride and loyalty that the soldiers had for their nation. There were many battles that the 116th Battalion had participated in World War I. The most significant ones are the Battle of Vimy Ridge, Ypres, Passchendaele, and Cambrai. Smith Finley McGillivray stayed together with Battalion 116th and fought in the Battle of Vimy Ridge, Ypres, and Cambrai. He and his comrades had experienced many horrific things, like the plane attack, intense machine guns, and all kinds of chemical weapons. Every time before Smith goes up to fight on the front line, he had probably looked at his badge and told himself that he would become a national hero. But unfortunately, Smith Finley McGillivray was sacrificed in the Battle of Cambrai. As his company was coming close during the attack on Cambrai, the enemy put an intense machine gun barrage, and Smith was killed instantly. Smith Finley McGillivray joined the CEF at the age of 19 and served in the 116th Battalion for over 2 years. His death was brutal, but he was forever remembered by his comrades and pals. The war ended 2 years after his death, and there were many soldiers like him that died at a young age because of the war. We should remember the soldiers that fought for peace and remind ourselves who made Canada the place it is today.